Whispers of the Vale. In the sleepy town of Eldorge, rumors of the otherworldly had long since faded into whispers, but for 14-year-old Nessa, the eerie tales were the very spine of her curiosity. She had spent countless nights flipping through dusty books at the local library, feeding her understanding of the supernatural. Her favorite tale was about the Vale, a thin, shimmering barrier that separated the world of the living from realms beyond, home to supernatural entities said to manifest only on moonlit nights. On a particularly foggy evening, Nessa sat perched on the edge of Stormcliffs, a concentration of jagged rocks that loomed at the town's outskirts. The full moon cast an ethereal glow upon the landscape, and a chill danced on the autumn air. The stories her grandmother told her echoed in her mind, about spirits that reached through the veil, feeding on fear and despair. With a spark of reckless bravery, she pulled a tattered piece of paper from her pocket, a drawing depicting the entity of whispers. It had hollow, sunken eyes, thin limbs, and a gaping mouth, forever frozen in a haunting scream. Legend had it that on nights like this, if one were to call the name of the entity, it would appear and grant a wish, but at an unspeakable price. Just a peek, she whispered to herself, biting her lip. Her heart raced as she took a deep breath and called out softly, "Entity of Whispers." At first, nothing happened. The wind rustled through the trees, and a shiver crept down her spine. Perhaps it was all just a myth, a tale spun to entertain rather than a reality. Disappointment began to settle in when a chilling breeze seemed to curl around her, ever so slightly at first, but then it grew stronger, carrying with it a sound, soft, delicate, almost like a song. Nessa's pulse quickened, the air around her heavy with an electricity she hadn't felt before. The sound transformed into a more distinct whisper, a symphony of voices. Compelled by an indescribable need to know, she yelled out louder, "Show yourself." And then she saw it. Emerging from the ethereal fog above the cliffs was a figure, cloaked in shadows, flickering in and out of the moonlit haze. The entity of whispers stood before her, its hollow eyes penetrating her soul as its long, claw-like fingers stretched toward her. The whispers crescendoed, her name mingled with the voices of those lost to the gloom. Desperation filled her, she felt an overwhelming pull towards it, the wish forming on her lips. "Please, I wish." "Wishes have a cost," it interrupted, its voice a chilling blend of sighs and laughter. "What do you desire, child of light?" Nessa's heart leapt. She thought of all the things she wanted. Popularity at school, the approval of her peers, the chance to be someone significant in a town that often overlooked her. "I want to be known. I want to be special." There was a moment of silence, and then the entity's mouth cracked into a macabre, wide grin. "So be it," it hissed. The ground beneath her quaked, and a blinding light engulfed Nessa, sending her senses spiraling. When the brilliance faded, she found herself standing back at the cliffs, but something felt off, everything felt unbearably still. The next day, Eldorge buzzed with excitement. Nessa had become an overnight sensation. She was invited to parties, praised at school, her every word held in awe. Yet, with every new day of being known, a creeping dread shadowed her heart. The whispers began to haunt her dreams, and shadows loomed in the corners of her room, writhing and clawing at her sanity. Weeks passed, and the weight of her newfound fame turned to a suffocating weight. Friends wanted her secrets. Admirers clung to her every gesture. She could feel the veil that separated her from peace fraying thin, fraying like the edges of her own sanity. One night, desperate to regain her lost peace, Nessa returned to Stormcliffs. The moon hung low, casting a silver glow. "Entity of whispers, I want to be rid of this," she cried out, tears streaming down her face. A cold laughter echoed around her as the entity materialized once more, its form shifting ominously. "By what right do you demand release? You wished to be known, remember?" The darkness surrounding her inched closer, impossibly thicker, intoxicating her senses. "I take no joy in this burden. Please." "Very well," it rasped, "but you will pay the price, child." Before Nessa could plead further, the shadows surged, consuming her entire being. Pain coursed through her as memories of her laughter, her joys, and friendships twisted into mockery, merging into a cacophony of anguished cries. The whispers around her became one, a tempest of despair. When she opened her eyes, she was back in the town, but something had shifted. Everyone around her carried their heads down, their faces mimicked hers, a look of defeat, devoid of recognition. Nessa called out, but no one turned. She felt invisible, unseen. The weight of her wish turned heavy, bound by the chains of her own despair. The entity of whispers had kept its promise. She was known, but only as a shadow, another whisper to fade into the legends of Eldorge, forever lingering just beyond the veil.